Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to my part of this webinar. Thanks for inviting me. I will now guide you through two of the WEkEO tools. One is the WEkEO plugins for Earthkit, and the other tool is the GPU. My name is Annalena Erdmann, and I'm a Copernicus Data Services Engineer at UMETSAT, and I'm, yeah, involved in WEkEO evolutions and new services. Let's start right away with the Earthkit. So Earthkit in general is a Python toolkit developed by ECMWF, and it's designed to simplify and standardize the handling of Earth system data. So especially large-scale meteorological data or climate data sets, but it can also be applied to any other kind of data, for example, satellite data or land data. It's highly modular, so you don't have that one tool, Earthkit, but it's like put together from several models. Like there is Earthkit data, which includes the data access, Earthkit plots, which has some visualization capabilities, and many, many more. I've put also the reference to the official documentation here in the slides for you to check it out later. And I would also like to point out that very, very nice presentation that was given by James Warndell in the WEkEO Essentials webinar. And he gave a full dedicated session on Earthkit and yeah, explained from ECMWF side how they developed it and what all the capabilities are. So yeah, feel free to check this out. It starts at around minute 26 of the webinar. WEkEO has contributed to the Earthkit Python package by a plugin. So WEkEO is now supported as a data source for the Earthkit data package. And so the key features are that you can, through the Earthkit syntax, seamlessly access the data which is available on WEkEO, so using the WEkEO HDA. And Earthkit hides all the complexity of data formats, of data management for you. So you can, using Earthkit, directly convert data, for example, to X-array and then go on with your processing from there. And also you can use the Earthkit plotting functions on some data sets of WEkEO. Not everything is supported, unfortunately, but I will show later a quick overview of which data sets are supported in Earthkit. There is also a lot of documentation available on how to use Earthkit with the Earthkit WEkEO plugins. And because I think it's always nice to have some interactive part, I will now show a quick demo of the Earthkit WEkEO plugin and how to visualize data with it. And with this, let me switch to my other browser window. So I am now on the WEkEO workspace. You can also go to the WEkEO workspace if you have a user account. And here in this public folder, you will find many, many example notebooks. I am showing the notebooks on how to visualize data with Earthkit, a slightly adapted version because we don't have too much time today. So we'll look at the land surface temperature data set from the Copernicus Land Monitoring Service. And I will now quickly show you how to access the data set and how to plot it using Earthkit. We first do all the necessary imports. Here you see that we're mainly using the data, the Earthkit data package. And this is practically the most important cell because here you see how the data is downloaded. So Earthkit data has an argument which you fill in with the source where you want to get the data from. And because we have this WEkEO plugin, we can just simply say we want to get the data from WEkEO and add the request here. This request is the JSON payload you get, for example, from the viewer when you select data sets. It's the same syntax which you also use when you access the data, for example, through the WEkEO API. And then without downloading any, well, it downloads data, but it stores it in cache. So you will not see the data here on the left in your working directory, but you will be able to directly convert it to Xarray. So we see we have 1 day time series with different variables like maximum land surface temperature, median, minimum, and so on. So now we have all the data in our working environment, and we can just continue with our processing. The next step is to visualize the data. So I've executed the notebook a bit beforehand because the visualization, it takes some time because it's quite a large data set. It's around 300 megabytes. So actually visualizing it, it's a bit difficult. And the Earthkit plots package, it really is useful because you do not have to worry about, okay, how to add a base map, how to add like the latitudes and longitudes in your legend, but it all does that automatically. You simply have to add um, the area, the units, and the data which you want to plot. And then it really nicely shows the data on the plot. Here we compare two different variables. One is the minimum and one is the median, very nicely next to each other. You can also select different geographical regions. So here we now select Italy for one and Spain for the next plot. And you see with just those two keywords, we're able to get the two different plots. And also, if you want to add more plots, this is easily possible by just looping through the data set and then just making a really nice matrix with the Earthkit plots function. And this is just very, very convenient for doing processing, for doing plots, and for getting access to the data. With that, I return to my slides. To give a few words about which data is supported. So the download through Earthkit is possible with almost all the data through WEkEO. 80% can be converted directly to Xarray, and the plotting functions are supported with around half of the data sets. So some data sets are not supported because the projections are very, very specific, or the data format is very, very specific. So this is the case for example, some satellite data like altimetry data that is just not supported yet. And here you can see a quick overview of the different services. So for example, here a high percentage of Mercator Ocean, like the CMEMS data sets, are supported with access, converting to Xarray and plotting. Also the ECMWF data sets, which is kind of clear because, yeah, it's originally done for the climate and meteorological data sets. Now coming to the next service, I'm very happy to introduce for the first time. These are the WEkEO workspace GPUs. WEkEO has since 2 weeks ago, so it's a very, very, very fresh service, graphical processing units on the workspace. So it's available to users who have a user account, and when you access your WEkEO workspace, you can now also access GPU processing power. There is around 8 gigabytes, I checked earlier, it's actually 7 gigabytes of GPU memory in the machine learning GPU server, and up to 5 users can use the GPUs at the same time. So what does that mean? It means if already 5 users are logged in using the GPUs and you're the 6th user, you might not be able to use it. So it's recommended to just wait a little bit, and then once one is free, you will get the access to it. You can use the GPUs on the WEkEO workspace to speed up training of small machine learning models, to prototype model training, and also to do inference on lightweight models. A few words on how to access the GPUs. So if you're here on your on the landing page and you're logged in, you can go to the you can go to the My WEkEO. You click My WEkEO, and you can see here the WEkEO workspace widget. When you click on Open, then you will first have to log in with two-factor authentication. But once you've done that, you have the option to select your server. And 2 weeks ago, we added one option, which is the machine learning GPU server. And when you select this, you will see, okay, it's starting up as usual. It should not take more than 2 minutes. If it's taking a really, really long time, chances are high that it's full already. So I recommend to just try later again. And then it will redirect you to the Jupyter Hub. You will notice that it looks exactly like your usual user space. So you have all the data which you've produced in the past already, all the code. And this is really handy because it enables you to, for example, do the data preparation part in the Earth observation server and then move to the machine learning GPU server only when you really do the model training and inference part. There is one notebook available already, an introduction to the WEkEO workspace GPUs, and I will just jump over again to quickly walk you through this notebook. That you can see what you can learn here in the notebook. So it's just a very, very simple introduction to the GPUs and tools you can use to monitor, for example, the usage. So in this notebook, you can find again when you're in your working directory. I have a really large number of files because I've been working with WEkEO a lot in your public directory. And then when you go to WEkEO for data and the WEkEO GPU, you will find that notebook. It first introduces how to access the GPU environment that I already explained. So I can just jump over that. When you're already logged in into the Jupyter Hub environment and you're not sure, is it the GPU or is it another server, you can very easily, you can just check that with NVIDIA SME. And you can see here now, yes, GPU is detected and I have 6.2 megabytes of memory available right now. Another very useful tool is NVTop. I will quickly start that. Because here you can see the usage of your GPUs. And we can quickly try it out with a matrix multiplication. And hopefully when we start this multiplication, we see a spike here now in the memory and in the usage of the GPU. When we empty the cache, we should see a decrease in the usage, ideally. And yeah, there is also some code available to make a comparison of CPU and GPU runtime, which you can see is it's quite powerful. So the GPU, when it comes to matrix multiplication, it really speeds up things, and this is essential when you do and then the machine learning training. So with this being said, you're very welcome to try out the notebooks and the GPU yourself. As I said, it's available already. And if you find at one point that the GPU, like this 6 gigabytes, 7 gigabytes, which you have on the Jupyter Hub, is not enough anymore for your project, I would really want to point you out to I would like to point out to you the Copernicus Innovation Lab. That is an initiative from where you can get cloud computing resources for projects using Copernicus services and Sentinel data that benefit economy, society, and environment. So the scope is pretty broad. And projects of Copernicus users from the Copernicus member states can apply for the Innovation Lab. You can just scan the QR code here, which redirects you to the WEkEO website, and then go to the Innovation Lab section, and you'll find more information here. It's a really, really nice initiative to support projects with computational resources like CPU, virtual machines, and also GPUs. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks a lot, Anna-Lena, for your presentation. Okay, so I'm back. So we have a few questions for you. The first one being, in case of gridded data, can Earthkit be used for visualization?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So usually if the data is in a gridded form, like with latitude, longitude dimension, time dimension, it can be used for visualization. For example, net CDFs with respective dimensions, they are in most cases supported for visualization. It really becomes difficult when you, for example, have imagery on an instrument grid, so only with X and Y and no time dimension and so on. So there it gets difficult, but in case of the gridded data, yeah, it's usually supported.
Okay, thanks a lot. Can matrix multiplication be used in integration with Python JetBrains Community Edition?
I am not aware of the JetBrains community, but I mean, what I can say is that the WEkEO workspace GPU just behave like any other GPU. So when you could use these JetBrains Community Edition also on a local machine which has a GPU, then yeah, I don't think anything speaks against also using it on the WEkEO workspace.
Next question, does Earthkit require someone to learn Python or Java, or does it accept code generated by AI?
Well, so Earthkit is in Python, so some knowledge of Python I'd say would not hurt. However, I mean, I have not tried out generating code for Earthkit with ChatGPT or so. It might work to a certain extent because it's quite well documented. So yeah, you can just give it a try. But I would always recommend to just yeah, learn some Python and then double check what the chatbot has given you out as code to be sure that you're doing the correct thing and also the correct processing.
Yeah, I agree also. This question, are these services hosted on European servers or on cloud-based services from non-European third-party providers?
The services like the WEkEO workspace, it's hosted on a European server. So our infrastructure provider is Cloudflare. So we are the WEkEO workspace, but also in case you're interested in the Innovation Lab resources, that is all hosted in Cloudflare's data centers in Warsaw.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so we have the two same question. How do we know when the GPU is available or not? And it's also the last one we see, if the user gets a warning from the system to log in when the GPU is available.
Yeah, so that is a very good question. So at the moment, you will know that the GPU is not available when the server spawning fails, so you will get an error message. There is a help center article on how this error message looks like, but it's not really comprehensive on first sight. We are currently working on it that you get an error message right away, but as I said, it's 2 weeks old, so it's all work in progress. But yeah, so at the moment you'll just get a timeout error, and hopefully soon in the future you'll get a more comprehensive error message saying, okay, please try again later.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll mark this one as answered. This question, so in the workspace, I have chose Earth data analysis, how to switch into GPU mode.
So you can switch by, maybe I can just quickly show it in
Oh yeah, go ahead.
the because I have the
It will
Jupyter
be
Lab
easier.
open. Exactly. So when when you're sure that you're not on a GPU server, you can just go to File and then go on the Hub Control panel, and then you can stop the server.
Okay.
And if you stop the server, you can start the server, and then you have the choice again.
Okay. Thanks. Good to know.
Okay, I'll stop my screen sharing.
A question about the example you show. So in the visualization example using Earthkit, I noticed that the northern part of Europe wasn't covered. The map seemed incomplete. Is there a reason for this?
Yeah, a really good catch. So the product I'm using is from the Copernicus Land Monitoring Service, and it relies on satellite data. And it just seems that that day was pretty cloudy over Northern Europe. So the gaps, they come from clouds, and yeah, this causes the gaps in the data.
Okay, thanks a lot for the explanation. Um, this one, so nice presentation, thank you. I had a quick question about the last platform you mentioned. Is it freely accessible or does it require a paid subscription?
So the last platform, like the WEkEO workspace, that is free,
Yeah.
and the innovation lab, that is also free. So the WEkEO workspace, you just require a user account, so you can just use it right now if you sign up. And the innovation lab, that is like an extended offer, and you will need to like write a short proposal, what you want to do. For example, you have a research project in your university and you need one virtual machines with one GPU for 3 months of time, for doing this and this, like, I don't know, downscaling climate data with machine learning, for example. And then this proposal will be evaluated, and then you will get the resources, but then it's also free. So once you're accepted in the innovation lab, then it's also free.
Okay, thanks a lot. And I think we have time for two more questions. So the almost last one, does Earthkit support processing curvilinear grids to rectilinear?
That I don't know. We will have to take that offline.
Okay. I will put the question on the side.
Yeah, thank you.
And the last one, can we use WEkEO GPU via an API to integrate GPU notebook execution into an external background process, then get the results, for example, as a weekly analysis?
That is a good question. So I'm also not 100% sure how that would work. Um, in the WEkEO workspace, you also have access to the command line interface, so to a terminal. So you can also use the GPU with that, so you don't have to necessarily use it in a Jupyter notebook. But I'll also check with our technical experts on that
Okay.
question, and then I'll
Okay.
get back to you.
I will put it on the side also if you want to have more
Yeah.
detail. Okay, thanks. So we will have to stop there for the